Fact, Ball in the House makes 5% or less of our income from merchandise, and 2% of that 5% is from streaming revenue. So, how is this our job? Well, welcome to episode 6, where we're going to tell you how. So, how do we do this for our job? Now, obviously, with the merchandise not being too big a part of it, performances is the other side of it. And that's how we make all of the other income. Now, when we first got started all of those years ago, we started off performing as much as we could, getting in front of people, trying to build our mailing list and get more fans, and trying to get out there so people knew who we were. And as that fan base grew, we were able to start making money from selling tickets for shows. And as awareness grew, we were able to get people who offered us or hired us to perform for events and functions and various things. That led to us performing at schools and kind of expanding the type of performances that we did. We did not have any kind of big angsty discussions and arguments about should we bring this full time. It just kind of happened. And in that way, we are like super, super lucky. Everybody had different jobs, some no jobs, and it allowed us to kind of slide into it all at our own rate. Now, keep in mind that there was 6 of us at that time. But when we were much younger and just out of college, there was a lot more flexibility as far as jobs and careers. And that was a huge part of this being able to become that full-time job for us. Now, we've been full-time now for 19 or 20 years. I don't know when the exact date is, because people started sliding out of their old jobs and into Ball in the House being their only source of income at different times. That's why that's kind of up in the air. But I would say there are 4 things that we did and do to help make this our full-time job. Number 1, diversity of performances. And by that, I mean that we don't just go into the clubs and just get the door from tickets. That can be lucrative in some cases, but it's tough and it depends on so many different factors. For us, we tried to diversify the types of shows that we were doing. So we were performing at festivals and fairs. We were performing in colleges. We were performing in schools. We developed master classes and workshops that could work with young kids, that could work with professionals, and all these kind of different things that we could offer so that we could do almost any type of performance. We've done corporate work and private work, all kinds of things. And that allows us to not just be limited to one type of performance, but basically, if anybody needs music or entertainment for something and we can be hired for it, we are open. And that's how that number 1 works. Number 2 is we keep everybody on salary. Now that has its pros and cons. One, the pro, and the reason why we do it is that so everybody can make a living, they can expect a certain amount of money and be able to pay their bills, right? And so everybody's on call if a show comes in. So if something comes in last minute, bam, like we're all there. Now, it doesn't mean we can't do other things. Some people cantor at church, other people do occasional, maybe arrange for another group, or whatever it is, but this is our main job. That is our first priority and first commitment for everybody in the band. The con of salary, of course, is that if we have a slow month, we still got to pay everybody's salary. But what happens is we try to average that out over the course of the 12 months of the year. We might have some really great months where we're really busy and making the bulk of our money, and other months where we're hardly performing at all. And so maybe those months we try to rehearse more, try and record more, and write. And other months we're out recording that we're just, just tired from that, but that's how it goes. Now, number 3 is that we all have everybody working behind the scenes. Now, there's a lot more that goes on in Ball in the House besides the performances. There's a lot of business, there's a lot of music, there's a lot of booking, there's a lot of organizing, a lot of social media stuff. It's a lot. And that takes up way, 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 way more time than the performances themselves. But the fact that we all do it ourselves, the 5 of us together, getting involved and taking care of all the things that need to be taken care of, that really helps us a lot too, since we're not paying other people to do it. And because we're on salary, because this is our full-time job, we get that happening. And then number 4, let's say that owning our own sound gear has enabled us to have a consistency of sound across our performances. Now, sometimes you go into a place and they got this amazing sound system, but there are other times we walk in and they sometimes literally have nothing. Having that sound system allows us to go into almost any situation and have that consistency of sound, but be able to fill up that place for whatever they need us to do. There's probably a lot more than that, but those are the main things that kind of stick out, and some of the things that we do that enable us to have this to be our full-time job. Now, we've definitely been lucky. That's been a huge part of it, but we also work really, really hard. And I can't say that it is much, much tougher than I'm sure it appears on the outside. I will say that for doing something that you love for your job, which for us is performing and singing, well, there's nothing better than that. Thanks for listening.